Okay, Bruce, this is going to be a little video to kind of walk you through connecting your camera to the Safari board and the backpackers, as far as your lighting array and everything is concerned. Of course, you got your shutter cable, and you sent me two shutter cables, and as would have it, both shutter cables are not the same. This particular one has a yellow and a white wire that I used, and I have that marked with a little piece of tape here. The white wire is your metering wire, and that would connect to the power port on the terminal block, which is marked P, and the yellow wire is the common, and that would connect to the PC port, power common port. Okay, now for your little Canon video remote, it has a red and a black wire. The red wire would connect to the S terminal, which is shutter, and the black wire connects to SC, which is shutter common. Okay, and as I have already told you in a previous video, I have the little infrared LED mounted in a glass bottle that you can place pretty much anywhere you want to in your build case on the sensor side of the camera, and that will activate the video. Okay, now for the backpackers, we have, I'm going to stack these here, pull the top two off. I've got your MOSFET backpacker, and this is where you would connect your lighting array or arrays. I programmed this to where you could actually run two arrays on it if you choose to do that or need to do that. And the way you connect your lighting array is, if it's a 12-volt array, you would connect the positive wire from your array directly to the positive side of the 12-volt power supply, and that does not get connected to the boards in any way whatsoever. What you would need to do is take the negative lead from your lighting array and connect that to terminal F1 or F2 on the MOSFET backpacker. Okay, so if you're running just one lighting array, you could use terminal F1 for the negative wire from your lighting array, and then connect the negative side of your 12-volt power supply to F1C. If you're going to run two lighting arrays, you could connect the second lighting array negative wire to terminal F2, and then the 12-volt power supply negative to F2C. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the lighting array wiring. Okay, our next backpacker that we're going to use is going to be the power backpacker, and this is what will actually give power to the Safari board for it to operate. And of course, it has a toggle switch on here, for on and off, and then your 12-volt power supply would connect at ground and power. Okay, and that's all you need for that. The last little backpacker that's going to go on top is the receiver backpacker that receives a signal from our remote motion sensor transmitter, which is this little unit right here. And so that's basically all the wiring that's needed for your backpackers and the Safari board. And just of course to plug in your jack into the shutter port on your camera, and then if you've got an external microphone that you're going to use, just connect that to your camera and you're ready to go. Okay. One other thing to do with this little remote motion sensor, you will receive 2 of these, and I have one of them marked as A1 and the corresponding receiver backpacker, I also have it marked as A1. Okay, the second remote motion sensor, I have it marked as B1, and of course the corresponding receiver backpacker is marked as B1. Those have to be matched up in order for it to work. You cannot use transmitter B1 with the receiver A1 because of the way that they're set up. Okay, so just keep that in mind. B1 with B1, A1 with A1. Okay. And of course you'll need a 9-volt battery to power your remote transmitter. Okay. Alright, so for this demonstration I'm going to install a 9-volt battery in transmitter B1. And I should have already had this prepared. Get the back off here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and connect a 9-volt battery to that. And you'll be able to tell that it's actually transmitting. It may take it a moment here to warm up. Okay, the little red LED lamp on the front lights up as it is detecting motion. Okay, so that means it's transmitting a signal. So I'm going to turn that away from me so that it can't detect my presence here. And I have one of your 550 cameras here that is connected to the smaller version of the Safari, and I have the motion sensor on the bottom of it covered right now, so that the only motion signal it's getting will be from this little transmitter. Okay, and the camera is on and it is in sleep mode. So we're going to power on the Safari board, and of course, like I previously mentioned in the other video, the LED on the Safari board will blink 8 times when walk test is completed, and then after that it's armed and ready for motion activation to trigger the camera. So we'll wait for the walk test to end here. Okay, so walk test just completed, and I'm going to activate it by signaling here with the remote motion sensor. The camera has started and it's taking video, and it will take approximately a 1-minute video, maybe just a couple of seconds longer than that, and so I'm going to let it sit here until that video is completed, so I can show you another little bit of information. Oh, and while we're waiting on that, this shutter cable for this camera has a red wire and a bare wire with no insulation on it. The red wire is your metering wire, which will connect to terminal P, and the bare wire is common, which would connect to terminal PC or power common. Okay, so our 1 minute video has ended, and now the camera is sitting idle. If it sits idle for 30 seconds, then it will go into sleep mode. Of course, if it had further motion detection, it would start a new video. But for this demonstration, I'm just going to let it go through the 30 seconds. And okay, so the camera just turned off. So at this point, if you were, say, going out to check your cameras, and you're going to turn off their Safari board so you can open your build case and remove your memory card. When you turn the power switch off, when you turn this toggle switch off, you're going to notice that the camera comes back on. It is not recording video, it just simply comes back on. Okay, and that's not a problem. The reason it's doing that is because whenever we kill the power to the Safari board, it has a sudden voltage spike, and it causes the camera to come back on. Okay, so if it just sits idle, saying it just went back off, so I mean that's no problem at all. You just simply just when you get your card changed and your battery changed, and you close your case back up, turn the Safari board back on, and you're ready for business again. I think that's really all I need to tell you. Like I said, the biggest thing is just to keep the B1 transmitter and the B1 backpacker together, because those work together, and A1 transmitter and the A1 backpacker together. Alright, well, here's a couple things that I failed to mention a little earlier, but I had said that I would tell you the reason for changing the from the original receiver backpacker that I sent you. When doing some testing, as you'll recall, I showed you just a little earlier that when you cut the Safari board off, when you're checking your cameras, to change battery and your memory card and whatever, with the original receiver backpacker that I sent you, with all the capacitors and the other circuitry that was on it, not only would the camera come on when you turn the Safari board off, but it would also have a sudden spike to the motion sensor circuit, and that would cause the camera to start taking video as well. So to solve that problem, I used one of my new receiver backpacker boards, and so that cured that problem. So anyway, I just wanted to let you know why the receiver backpacker is a different style than the original one that I sent you. Okay, these work fantastic, and it just eliminates the problem of the camera suddenly starting to take video whenever you cut the Safari board off. Alright, another thing that we need to talk a little bit about is the power supply to your lighting arrays and to the Safari board. Of course, to get power to your Safari board, that's going to connect to the terminals on the power backpacker, which is this little backpacker here. And your 12-volt power supply, as I said earlier, would connect at the ground and power screw terminals on that board. Alright, now to get power to your lighting array or arrays, if you're using more than one, this is your MOSFET backpacker, and there's a couple of different ways. Actually, there's probably several different ways you could do that, as far as wiring that up. But if you're using just a single, SLA 12 volt battery such as I have here, or a big automotive battery or whatever it may be, to wire your lighting array, as I mentioned, the positive side of your lighting array does not get connected to the MOSFET backpacker or to the Safari board. Now you could connect a jumper wire from the power backpacker at the power terminal, or excuse me, you could run your positive wire from your lighting array and connect it in that same terminal in the positive power lead. Okay, and that would give you your positive side of the circuit. And then to get your negative side of it that you need, you could run a jumper from the ground terminal of the power backpacker and connect that at screw terminal 1C or 2C up here on the MOSFET backpacker. Make sure I'm telling you this right. Actually, it's F1C and F2C would be your ground connection from your battery negative. Okay, like I said, of course there's different options, different ways you could do that. You could have some type of screw terminal block mounted inside your case that you have your 12 volt power supply going to, and then split off from that and connect the 12 volt positive and negative to the power backpacker to supply your power to the boards, and then have your lighting array positive wire going to that terminal block to connect for the positive side, and then have wires coming from F1C and F2C for the ground side of the lighting array circuit, and have that going to the screw terminal or screw terminal block that would supply power that way. So like I said, there's several different ways to accomplish that. Just thought I would mention that to you.